I'm Angela, and today we are going to be talking about our summer homeschooling routine. So it's been a while since I've just sat down and chatted with you guys about something. We've been doing a ton of vlogs lately, but I have gotten so many questions about how homeschool went this year, curriculum that we used, what we're doing over the summer. Yeah, just tons of questions. I get so many questions about homeschooling, and it's been a while since I've made any kind of video and shared anything. So I'm gonna do two different videos. Today's video, I'm gonna talk to you guys about what we do over the summer because I think that it's applicable whether you homeschool or not. So today's video is going to be, like I said, ideas for summer and homeschooling over the summer, or doing educational activities with your kids over the summer. And we're just gonna be talking about kind of what we do. And then I will do a separate video where I will review the curriculum that we used this year and let you guys know what I think. Also, as you know, we year-round homeschool, so our start and stop dates look a little different than everybody else's. So I will be doing a video about that. I might put it on my other channel though, since it is super specific. I do feel like this video fits kind of across the board, whether you are a homeschooler or not. Also, I do want to quickly mention that today's video is sponsored by ECCU. They are a Christian credit union. I will be sharing more about them in a little bit. I'm super excited to tell you guys how our kids are using that credit union and banking, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I've got my coffee. CR took the kids out for a little bit so that I could actually film. I've got all my notes here. The first thing for us is, as you guys know, we are year-round homeschoolers, which means that we don't have like a definitive, like we start school right after Labor Day and we end right after Memorial Day, which is like, you know, a very typical schedule for school. So I've made a whole nother video about that, so I'm not going to go into it here, but I will link that video for you guys down below if you're curious about how year-round homeschooling works and how we get in all of the school days necessary and everything. That's a totally separate video. But during the summer, we do really lighten our load of schoolwork. Number one, for a couple of reasons. We're usually traveling and doing things, which I feel like a lot of people are, but we really like to stick to the basic subjects. So we really like to make sure that our kids are still doing reading, writing, and math. So we use teaching textbooks as our math curriculum. And then we also add in other things. I shared this on Instagram recently. This is just an example. So this is a real world math book. I got mine on Amazon. Somebody else told me I think you can find them at Walmart. It's great. It's for grades 5 through 8. So it's really, Shelby's in 4th, Kennedy's in 6th. So it'll kind of work for both of them. But it really is legitimately like real life math, budgeting, percentages, if you're looking for discounts, like mortgages, things like that. Things that kids like really need to know, you know, real life, real world math. For our family, we feel like this is one of the most important things we want our kids to know is like real world things. Learning how to do their taxes, things like that I feel like a lot of times get, well, at least where I went to school, got skipped over in school. A lot of life skills stuff. So we're trying to, as our kids get older and it makes more sense, teach them very real life, just different skills, not even math, but lots of different skills. So workbooks like this that are simple, you don't need like whole curriculums. Like I said, if your kids are just home on summer break and maybe you're like us and it's so hot outside, you just like go play outside in the morning, but then in the afternoon it's too hot and you don't want them just laying around watching TV and you want them to keep using their brains a lot over the summer, workbooks like this can be really great. And like I said, you can find them at Costco, Walmart. We have like different like educational stores like the Learning Express and stuff like that. You can usually find workbooks like this. So I will link this particular one down below if you're interested, and a few of my other favorites. So I will have those linked down below in the description box for you. I'm sorry, I keep looking at my notes. I don't want to forget anything. Number 2 is reading, like I said. So we do various different reading exercises and assignments. One of the things that we do, and we'll talk a little bit more about this later, is pay our kids for book reports. So I read an article years ago, and I can't remember now off the top of my head, about a guy, and I feel like maybe he was like the head of a company or something like that. And he said that he implemented something where he paid his kids $20 for book reports during the school year over the summer, but it was in addition to whatever they were doing in school. So it had to be extra. And that is something we have started implementing with our kids. Number one, it has to be an approved book by mom and dad. And number two, you have to, it has to be outside of your regularly assigned reading and things like that. So it has to be essentially a sacrifice on their part to use their time, their free time, to read this book and write a book report. Your kids do nothing else all summer long. If you don't do any workbooks, if you don't do anything else, just encourage them to read. And if they're not old enough to read themselves, read to them. That is like the bottom line, most important thing you can do for your kids is give them a love of reading, and a lot of that begins by reading to them before they're able to read to themselves. So number three though is also writing. So for our kids, again, not all of our kids are old enough for this, so understand that this is on a different level for each one. We will do some different writing assignments, some creative writing assignments. I will leave a few, again, links down below. I don't know where my book is right now off the top of my head, but there are lots of fun creative writing workbooks like this out there, where you can ask your kids to do that. Just, hey, do this one exercise in this book. It's just like a fun creative writing exercise. As far as like our structured type part of our education, that's kind of what we stick to over the summer months. And then we really focus hard. We focus on this all the time. Like I said, like life skills, that's very important to us that we're teaching our kids. So that's where I wanted to share with you guys today about ECCU. They are a Christian credit union, and we have begun opening accounts for our children. So their accounts kind of grow with your kids. So you can share it kind of with a young child, so you're doing the banking and they're learning. You can share it with like your tween child where you bank together. And then of course you can move on up into like youth and teens where they are doing their own banking and you're just monitoring it. So one of the things that kind of led us to this is that Kennedy and Shelby, as you guys know, they love to go to Briarfest every year. They do not spend their money that they save or earn on anything else all year, hardly. Like hardly ever will they spend their money on anything else. They save it all for this one trip that we take to Kentucky in the summer. And that is where it's really the only thing my kids care about, the girls. It's the only kind of toys that they really buy or anything like that are these Briar horses. So they have been working really hard the last couple of years, but really specifically this year, to earn money so that they can have what they want to spend. If you know anything about Briars, it is an expensive item to collect. So they have a lot of work cut out for them to earn the money that the goals that they've set for themselves for how much money they want. So they have started doing various tasks for us. Again, this could be a separate video. We don't pay for regular chores, we pay for chores that are in addition to. So you have your regular chores in our house that are just called like being a human being and living here and helping out because you live here and you're part of a family. And then you have chores that we pay for, which are in addition to that. So they do those things. And then they've also started doing a lemonade stand in our neighborhood. They've sold cookies and Rice Krispie treats. They did that a couple weekends ago. And it really taught them some lessons about how hard it is to make money, like how much work they put into getting that all set up and then how much they made. That was definitely like a good, like real world thing. The other thing they've started doing is doing like dog walking or dog sitting in our neighborhood. And this is great during summer. That's why I said like we ease up on some of the other stuff and let them focus on this, because during summer, people are traveling, they're going on vacation, and the girls are in the neighborhood. They're plenty old enough. They really need a place to keep that money because they're not just like, oh, I have $20. They're starting to get to the point where they have like hundreds of dollars. And so we want to teach them responsibility with that money, because not only do they want the money to spend at Briarfest, but they also love, love, love to give. There's constantly things that people are raising money for that the girls want to be able to give to. And so this is a great way for them to learn what that looks like, how to be generous with your money, also how to save your money for things that you really want. So yeah, so we have really been loving ECCU. They do have very practical and educational resources to help your children learn how to manage their money. And I also really like that I can log into their account and I can monitor everything just to check their spending. They do have, like I said, they have like an online way to manage their money. There's also a mobile that you can have on your phone. Our girls don't have phones, so I can keep it on my phone, and if they want to check it, they can here, or they can just use our computer. And then they do have like debit cards. So of course, they think that's like the coolest thing ever that they have debit cards, but it's really good for them to see how quickly that money goes if you do a little $5 here, a little $5 there. And of course, as a mom, I like ECCU and letting the kids have these youth accounts there. Like I said, they're a Christian credit union and they're super focused on serving homeschoolers and the homeschooling community, as well as global missions, pastors, growing churches, and just Christian families in general. Of course, as a parent, you can bank at ECCU too. You can open an account and then you can easily transfer money right into your kids' account. And you can also transfer from the mobile app if you need to. So if you're out and you know that you owe your kids some allowance or some chore money or something like that, and they're gonna go to the movies or whatever, you can use the mobile app and transfer money really quickly that way as well. So we've really been loving ECCU so far, and I think you guys would probably really enjoy them as well. I will leave all the information down below in the description box if you wanna open up an account for yourself or for your kiddo and start teaching them good money management as early as possible. And the website is www.eccu.org/nest. And that will also be linked down below in the description box. Okay, so we've talked about the curriculum stuff we do, we've talked about some of the life skills stuff that we do, and then the last part of what we do over the summer is travel. You guys know we love, love, love to travel, and we love for our kids to learn things very hands-on. We think there's so much value in that, and so we have multiple trips planned this summer. If you are taking any kind of a vacation or a trip this summer, it's super easy. I highly recommend just like getting on and Googling the area that you're going to and seeing what kind of things are out there. You might find state parks or forts or nature preserves or museums or all kinds of different things. And maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you just want to relax and lay out and do, like if you're going to the beach, like you just want to relax, you don't want to think about that. But maybe you do, and so that's just my suggestion for us because of the way our family is set up, the way we do things, and how we year-round homeschool and travel a lot. We always like to look up and see like what kind of educational opportunities are in this area that we're going, something that we might not normally see or do in our hometown, in our area, and try to find ways that we can infuse education into the fun things that we are doing too, because it doesn't have to be boring and it doesn't have to feel like school. You can still go and learn things. And the thing I always like to remind myself is, even if I feel like, okay, well, this museum is only like it's only gonna work for like my older kids, it's too much for my younger kids. Number one, kids pick up on so much more than we realize. And number two, I believe that they have proven now that kids need to learn something at least 3 times, like hear something at least 3 times before they really, really retain it. So like if you're teaching your 2nd grader about the Civil War, they're gonna need to hear about the Civil War again before they really retain the information. They're probably gonna need to hear about it at least 3 times. So when we go to these museums and we do these different things, we try to recognize that even if it's a little bit of a repetition to something we've already done before, that's okay. They're just hearing the information again and in a different way, and it's presented in a different way, and you just never know who's going to pick up on what and who's going to learn what at each one of those different places or things that you try. So yeah, that's my last piece of advice is with travel, is to do your best to find ways to make that educational and find things that you can add into those trips that you're taking, those vacations that you're taking, to beef them up a little bit. And at least for us, that's really, really helpful as we take various time off for different things to make sure that like, hey, we're still learning because we're doing this, and we're still learning because we're doing that. And it's crazy how kids' minds are just like sponges, and they absorb so much and so many things that we don't even think that they're absorbing, and they totally do. So, and other things that you sit there and you focus on for hours and hours and hours, and then they still look at you and say, I don't know. Bah! Okay guys, so that is kind of my summer homeschooling routine, what we like to do. Hopefully there's some stuff in here that you found valuable and helpful and that you can bring into your own home to help get through summer. I know so many moms are like, my kids are out of school, what do I do? It's so hard to be out of your routine. I totally understand that. If you have kids that are going to school every day and then they're home, sometimes it can be really hard to get out of your routine. And I understand that it's not always easy, and it's, you know, you love your kids and you're happy they're home with you, but you also feel like, oh, I don't know what to do to entertain you all day, because you're used to being in school where you have these time slots. So maybe this will give you some ideas of just some different things that you can do. And when all else fails, girl, open that back door, send them into the backyard, give them one of those push pop things. I mean, whatever, throw a Hail Mary, push pop in the yard, get out of here. Or if you're a super good mom, then you can make a natural fruit popsicle and put it in the freezer and give your kids a healthy fruit popsicle and send them out. Whatever you do, I definitely do both from time to time, so no judgment here. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you guys have a great start to your summer. You can always head on over to Instagram if you want and follow me there if you want to keep up with what we are up to this summer. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see y'all again real soon. Bye.
About to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to